Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Sam Greenstein. Thank you for joining us for our webinar of best practices for applying for ACLP Awards. This is co-sponsored by the Fellowship and Awards Subcommittee, the Research Subcommittee, and the Research and Evidence-Based Practice Committee, as well as the Mentorship Subcommittee. Again, it's kind of odd to introduce myself, but I'm Sam Greenstein. I am the current program director for Lenox Hill Psychiatry's residency. I was a former CL Fellowship Director at Sucker Hillside Hospital, and currently on the Mentorship Subcommittee as well as the Fellowship Education Subcommittee. And I'm really looking forward to being here this afternoon. Real quick, the roles, we're going to go over the roles of ACLP committees and subcommittees in the awards process. We're going to go over recent updates and improvements to how awards are handled, as well as descriptions of each ACLP award and how nominees are selected and evaluated. And then we'll have a Q&A. And leading our panelists and bios, we have from the Fellowship and Awards Subcommittee, Dr. Divi Ravindranath. He is a clinical associate professor at the Stanford University School of Medicine, as well as a staff psychiatrist at the San Mateo Medical Center, which is a safety net hospital for San Mateo County. His clinical interests are in emergency psychiatry and inpatient CL psychiatry. He completed his residency and CL fellowship training at the University of Michigan. And this is his second year as chair of the ACLP Fellowship and Awards Subcommittee. We'll also have Dr. Lisa Scher, who's a clinical professor of psychiatry and deputy chief in the Division of Medical Psychiatry at Stanford. Her clinical expertise lies in transplant psychiatry, clinical care psychiatry, and mental health in cystic fibrosis. She's edited 5 books, written multiple articles, and had multiple presentations on these topics. And she's been an active member of ACLP and is the current chair of the Transplant Psychiatry SIG and vice chair of this committee. From the Research Evidence-Based Practice Committee, we have Dr. Amy Bauer. She's a professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at the University of Washington. She's the director of the University of Washington's Community-Based Integrative Care Fellowship and has experience with research, teaching, and implementing collaborative care and community-based practice settings. She currently serves on the ACLP Board of Directors and is the chair of the Research and Evidence-Based Practice Committee, as I already said. And lastly, we have on the Research Subcommittee, we have Dr. Maria Prom. She's an assistant professor of psychiatry at Boston University School of Medicine and is the director of the BUMC Global and Local Center for Mental Health Disparities. She's a consultation liaison psychiatrist and global mental health systems and service researcher and educator, focused on sociocultural psychiatry and addressing mental health disparities in under-resourced settings locally and internationally. And that is all from me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Divi.
Great, thank you. And I will share my screen on that exact same slide. So thanks everybody for joining. It's my pleasure to be here as the chair of the Fellowship and Awards Subcommittee, joined by Lisa Scher as our vice chair. I have on the screen the list of participants and members of our subcommittee. We have 16 in total, and our responsibility is to review applications for the awards that we'll be covering in a minute, and then forward nominations to the ACLP board. In addition, we also think about ways we can streamline the process or improve things on the back end of making these selections. Also think about what other awards might be worth developing for the organization and sundry other items. So let's see, the first award we'll be talking about is the Academy Fellowship. So I'll hand it over to Lisa.
Yes, so Academy Fellowship is definitely one of the bigger awards. Kind of there are more of them given each year, and the deadline for the application is July 1st. So there's definitely time to apply. So please do. What is required is, of course, the application, the CV, and supporting materials. And there are minimum requirements to apply for this award. And then what the committee is also looking for is to really look for the active participation and exemplary contributions to the Academy. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But to apply, a person needs to be a member of the ACLP for 6 consecutive years after their training. They must have completed self-fellowship and or dual residency training more than 6 years ago at the time of the application, have attended at least 3 ACLP meetings in the last 5 years, have been active participants in ACLP at least 3 of those last 5 years, And that, of course, can be exemplified by participating or chairing a committee, being a member, well, actually chair, co-chair, vice chair of the multiple SIGs that we have, and actively presenting at the annual meetings. And this is definitely something that the committee considers and looks at when reviewing the applications. It should be sponsored by 2 Academy Fellows, and those letters would be directly submitted to ACLP. So kind of think about who you can reach out to so they can write the letters of support. And the members should attend annual meeting to be installed to fellowship. And then after they go through the process, they're allowed to use the fancy FACLP letters after, kind of their name and other letters in the professional credentials.
Great. The next award we'll cover is the Training Travel Award. This also has a July 1 deadline. We require a 500-word statement from trainees of any level, PG1 or medical student up to PG5, and a CV and letter of recommendation. Winners of this award will receive $750 in financial support for attending the annual meeting. And this year we have budgeted 20 awards for this year's annual meeting. So we're hopeful to get a lot of good candidates for this because we have a lot of awards to give. If you have submitted a poster, presentation, or the talk for the meeting and it gets accepted, this is fantastic, but it's not required to be considered for or nominated or accepting this award. But we do give preference to more senior trainees and also trainees from programs that may not have other mentorship for CL interested trainees. So smaller programs that don't have a large body of ACLP members and their faculty and so on and so forth. The next award is the Visiting Professorship.
Great. So visiting professorship is also due on July 1st, and up to 4 awards can be given per year. The sponsoring, it really requires the sponsoring institution and the faculty and the faculty member, and there must be ACLP members. We'll kind of look a little bit more closely at the application on the next slide, but it does require to really highlight the goals for the sponsoring institution and the format of the visit. So really you kind of you need to start thinking about what are the goals and what presentations or other mentorship opportunities the visiting professor will provide to the institution they're visiting. Award provides $2,500 to cover the expenses. And as I mentioned, there are up to 4 awards per year are given. Preference is giving to applications with CL-specific projects and broad impact within the institutions. Something to think about is also, we're looking at potentially a bit more kind of junior faculty members applying for more senior members to come and visit the institutions. So really so that the knowledge and the expertise can be spread from the more senior members of the academy. And next slide just kind of demonstrates, it's small here, but if you go to the website, you will see, so there's an application process and really what that visit is going to be look like, and objectives should be outlined in some detail.
The Studemeyer Award recognizes innovations in education. Now we're moving on to awards with an April 30th deadline, which is 1 week away. For this award, we're looking for the application materials found on the website, a CV, and any supporting materials like examples of the teaching materials or any feedback evaluations, any literature that's come from the educational intervention, and so on. The winner of this award receives a complimentary registration at the meeting if you're not an ACLP member. You also are asked to put together a poster describing the educational innovation, and we only give 1 of these awards per year. The supporting materials are really important here. Those listed as optional, I'll emphasize that this is what helps us to distinguish the exceptional from the truly exceptional. Everybody's interventions or teaching innovations are really cool, but we need to know what's like the coolest, and that's the one that's going to get the award. So if you're going to apply for this award, make sure that you have really good supporting materials.
The Distinguished Service Award, that's actually, the deadline is coming up April 30th. So please, apply, nominate, people who are qualified for this. The materials that need to be submitted are application, CV, and the photo of the ACLP member being nominated. And it's conferred on Academy members for extraordinary or service to the Academy. And the next award that Divi is going to be talking about, it's really to the field. This distinguished services to the Academy of notable contributions that have made lasting advances for the, again, Academy of, you know, the CL psychiatry. But really we're looking for the exemplary contributions to the Academy. It's not awarded every year, so you know it might be awarded or not based on who applies. And there are definitely also DI considerations here as well. So we really want to make sure that we're representing diverse pool of candidates and members of the Academy. And again, the deadline is coming up for this one.
Our third award that has an April 30th deadline is the Award for Special Recognition. This is, again, similar to the Distinguished Service Award, requires an application, a CV, and a photo of the ACLP member being nominated. Here, though, we're looking for individuals with outstanding service to the field on a local or national level. And it's interesting because, you know, we get applicants who've done really cool things at their own institutions. We have to decide which of these we want to push forward. But we encourage and appreciate applications of all sorts. So if there's somebody in your local area or somebody you know of who's been doing a great job in CL psychiatry and believe they should receive the recognition, please do select this award for them. We can award 1 to 2 of these awards per year, and as mentioned, there are DEI considerations as well, trying to represent the diversity of what we have in the field. And our final award is the Eleanor and Thomas P. Hackett Memorial Award. This is also due April 30th. Here we're requesting application, CV, 3 letters of recommendations, and up to 5 supporting materials. The nominee must be a member of the organization for 10 consecutive years. You have to have an FACLP. You have to have active presentations and active service at the ACLP. Have significant contributions in the field and represent excellence in education, scholarship, /research, clinical excellence, and leadership. And again, we'll have some DEI considerations involved here as well. Commitment, and finally, the winner has to agree to give a lecture at the annual meeting. And this lecture is oftentimes the highlight of the meeting, and it's kind of gives an opportunity for a member to take us through their career in a retrospective fashion or talk about their perspectives for the future of the field. And it's a nice time to step away from the updates in science and updates in the clinical work and updates in this and that and the other thing, and have a moment to reflect on how one person's life has gone or was going. There is a $1,000 honorarium, travel expenses, and complimentary registration, and this award is recognized as both the Academy's highest honor. Okay, so if you're looking for more information about the awards, you can find them at the website. I believe that the Studemeyer Award is still listed as having a July 1 deadline, but that needs to be updated. It's April 30th. We're requesting these by April 30th. So that's the one. Corrections to the website, but otherwise the website materials are accurate. I'll stop the screen share there and hand it over to Dr. Bauer, I believe.
Great. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. I am also going to share slides. So bear with me a moment while I get those ready. Okay. Hopefully you can all see my slides now. So I am here today representing the Research and Evidence-Based Practice Committee, and we'll be talking about the awards that our committee reviews. I would like to acknowledge our many committee members who bring a great deal of expertise and thoughtfulness to reviewing the awards process. For any of you who potentially would be interested in joining the committee, there are calls each year for service. And we always love bringing on new folks who can assist as well. And I also have our research subcommittee members. This is a large subcommittee. They have a lot of activities that they're responsible for. And again, we'd love to hear from folks who are interested in getting involved. Just as a quick overview, there's a couple of awards that research and evidence-based practice review, and several by the research subcommittee that I believe Maria Prom, the chair of the subcommittee, will be sharing. So specifically, I will be reviewing the William Webb Fellowship Awards and the Don R. Lipset Award for Achievement in Collaborative Care. Okay, just briefly, an overview of the process overall is that after applications are submitted for the awards, the executive office reviews the applications for completeness and performs an initial eligibility check. Those materials are then forwarded on to the committee or subcommittee members to review the applications and rate them using specific criteria. Committee or subcommittee leadership is provided with blinded rating forms and makes final recommendations. And then those recommendations are sent up to the board of directors for final approval of the award winners. So for the Webb Fellowship, this is a very popular program. It was named after Dr. William Logan Webb Jr., who is a former Academy president, and his work and career focus on psychiatric ethics, education, and physician well-being. The purpose of the program is to foster the career development and leadership potential of advanced psychiatry residents, NCL psychiatry fellows who plan to engage in an academic career in CL psychiatry. There's 4 areas of focus for the program, which include scholarly work. Specifically, fellows who are selected will work with an assigned mentor to develop a scholarly presentation that they will give at the end of the year of the fellowship at the annual meeting. The second area of focus is on mentorship, as I mentioned. There's an assigned ACLP mentor, and there's the expectation as well that applicants will have mentorship within their own institution. Another area of focus is on networking and professional development. This is specifically through fellows being assigned to work on a committee or subcommittee of their preference during their year in the fellowship program, and encouraging them to be involved in ACLP activities. And then the 4th area is ACLP engagement. Really one of the main goals of this program is to encourage our junior members to get to know the academy and get involved in the academy so that they can continue to be involved and shape the field going forward. The application criteria include that the describing plans and goals for making use of the opportunities of the Webb Fellowship and the potential impact of the program on career development. The second part I would underscore is particularly important in trying to show how this award might change your trajectory, because we often get many great applicants and really want to differentiate who can make best use of this opportunity. The second is the proposed academic project. Historically, this program has been more research focused, and I know sometimes there are questions because it comes under research and evidence-based practice as our committee to review it. And what I'd like to emphasize is really to think about the academic project as any type of scholarly effort, which could be research, but also could be review, quality improvement, or other scholarly work. Demonstrated engagement in ACLP and demonstration of academic and scholarly and leadership work in general in CL psychiatry. There are a couple of other requirements. Applicants must either be 4th-year residents, fellows, or first-year attendings at the time of the receipt of the award. They must be active members of ACLP and have attended at least one ACLP annual meeting in the past. Applications for this award are due on July 1st. And this year, as our academy has expanded, we have budgeted for 8 Webb fellowships this year, which is an increase in number from prior years. The second award that I'll be speaking about is the Don R. Lipset Award for Achievement in Collaborative Care. This is named after Don R. Lipset, who was founding chairman emeritus of the Department of Psychiatry at Mount Auburn Hospital. He was founding editor of two really relevant journals for our field, General Hospital Psychiatry and the International Journal of Psychiatry and Medicine, and is also former president of the International College of Psychosomatic Medicine and Massachusetts Psychiatric Society. So was a great leader within our field. And this is an award for achievement in collaborative care, recognizing a psychiatrist who has demonstrated excellence and innovation in the integration of mental health and other medical care through collaborative care. The application for this award is due on April 30th. And for the Lipset Award in particular, I would say good candidates are people who, well, I'll go through the criteria. Here have contributed to the field of collaborative care and have a scope of work that's related to collaborative care that could include research and scholarship, clinical systems development and/or education, have really demonstrated leadership in this field through those same mechanisms. And then optionally, any additional clinical or health care policy contributions to collaborative care. So really here we're looking for not necessarily somebody who has worked just clinically as a collaborative care psychiatrist, but somebody who has really worked to advance the field, the adoption, the implementation, research, scholarship around collaborative care. So I will stop here and hand it over to Maria Prom for the Research Subcommittee Awards. And of course, if there are questions, feel free to put those in the chat or reach out to us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Amy. Go ahead and share screen. So I'll be sharing the Research Subcommittee Awards that within the larger research committee we review and award each year. Within our subcommittee, we review the Foundation Research Professor Program, which includes 2 awards that I'll be reviewing, as well as the Wayne Caton Research Award, and then more recently in the past 2 years, the ACLP Developing Scholarship and Research Colloquium Independent Investigator Track Applicant Award. The Foundation Research Professor Program, as I mentioned, contains 2 components. It was developed in memory of Dr. Wayne Caton, Academy President from 2012 to 2013, related to his contribution to research and specifically mentoring of young researchers. Objectives are to promote the interest in CL psychiatry research and support the development of emerging talent in the field. It consists of 2 award mechanisms, as I mentioned. First, the Research Foundation Professor, and then the mentees of that professor, really again focusing on promoting mentorship of young researchers to expand the field in CL psychiatry. For the Foundation Research Professor, the nominations are submitted online through the form. They are due April 30th, so just around the corner, with criteria being substantial background achievements in research in an area relevant to CL psychiatry, proven track record as a mentor, and willingness to accept the responsibilities of the role. Those responsibilities include presenting a lecture in person at the annual meeting, presenting up to 1 additional lecture in person at the meeting if requested, mentoring of the early career researcher mentees, which includes organizing and maintaining regular contact with the mentees through October 31st of the following year, and then ultimately providing a summary report on mentee interactions. The award includes complimentary registration to the annual meeting and a $5,000 honorarium to cover costs of attending the annual meeting and honorarium beyond that. What's required is a description of their original research papers, their role as a PI on research grants and their research support activities, research contributions to the field of CL psychiatry and the importance of those contributions, and importantly, the evidence of mentorship of junior investigators in CL psychiatry, such that they would be good for this role in supporting the mentees. The Early Career Research Mentee Award comes out a little bit later after the research professor has been selected. In that those mentees may be able to review and see who the foundation professor is and see if it might be a good match for their research career goals or thematic or measures related or methods related background. The nominations again are submitted through the nomination form, and the applications are due on August 21st. Typically, 3 applicants are selected for this award, all working with the research professor throughout that year. They must demonstrate current research activity, willingness and ability to effectively use research mentorship, and academia membership is preferred, though it is not required. Applicants are selected by the research subcommittee chair, vice chair, and the foundation research professor awardee themselves based on these criteria. Awardees are expected to attend and actively participate in the annual meeting. And they are expected to participate in the mentorship program with the foundation research professor, both at the meeting usually and then throughout the year. The award includes the mentorship opportunity with the research professor, complimentary meeting registration, and a $500 stipend for travel costs. What is required is a statement of their current area of research interest, the potential benefit from the mentorship of the research professor, and a description of why the mentor would be a good match for their research work or career, which could be from a number of different reasons, not specifically shared research content area. The next award is the Wayne Caton Research Award. This award is intended to recognize and honor an active researcher in the field of psychopathology in the medically ill. The nominations again are submitted through the online nomination form, which are due April 30th. Criteria include being an active researcher in CL psychiatry, but is not limited to just psychiatrists. It could be other professionals in the area. Scientific work should be predominantly clinically focused, and this is not a lifetime achievement, and contributions to ACLP are not a factor in selection. So this could be at any point in someone's career versus some of the other awards that have been listed. What needs to be supplied for the application is original research papers that have been published, particularly as first and last author, and the review looking at whether they're high impact and peer-reviewed journals. Additionally, you need to provide a description of the role as a PI on research grants and the importance of that research in contributions to the field of CL psychiatry, their experiences in mentorship of junior investigators in CL psychiatry, and effective dissemination of research findings to change policy or practice. Again, those awards can be individuals that you nominate, and not all of these awards require the nominees to be ACLP members. Finally, we'll share the ACLP Developing Scholarship and Research Colloquium Independent Investigator Track. This is a new program within ACLP for the last 2 years, which is focused on developing further scholarship and research in the field of CL psychiatry in young researchers, early career researchers, as well as supporting scholarship. This specific track is intended for individuals who hope to develop an independent investigator career within CL psychiatry and supports in the development and mentorship of both career development as well as grant development. Awardees are expected to attend and actively engage in the colloquium, which occurs on the Wednesday of the annual meeting, a full-day event from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're additionally expected to present their research proposal to a group of senior mentors during the colloquium who can provide feedback on the research proposal to support future funding applications. The award includes this mentorship opportunity during the colloquium, complimentary meeting registration, and $250 stipend for travel costs. Again, nominations are submitted through the application form. Applications for this track are due on August 1st rather than the April 30th or July 1st deadline. Typically, 6 applicants are selected for the track, and applicants must be members of ACLP, must be attending the annual meeting that year, as well as able to attend the entire day-long colloquium in person. They must be early in their research career and cannot have been the PI in a federal care or R grant or equivalent, but can be at any stage in their clinical careers. We encourage residents, fellows, juniors, and mid-career faculty who are beginning to develop their research careers. You may concurrently apply for other ACLP awards, such as the Webb Fellowship or Mentee Awards, which might be similar for those individuals at this stage in their career. Applicants are scored on a rubric from the Research Subcommittee Colloquium Working Group. The review includes a clarity of the research idea or proposal, the applicant's potential for future research engagement based on review of their personal statement and CV, and their readiness to benefit from participating in the colloquium. What is needed for application is a one-page description of research ideas or proposals, including a specific aims or research objectives, a one-page personal statement indicating career goals and why the colloquium would help advance those plans, and then a CV. Those are all of the research subcommittee awards.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Drs. Rendranath, Scher, Bauer, and Prom. We'll start off a little bit of a Q&A. This is I'm going to read directly from our Zoom Q&A box. So a question about the Webb Fellowship Awards. I'm sure you receive a ton of applications for the same. I'm curious what typically distinguishes those who are awarded the fellowship. Is it a demonstration of commitment to the specialty, early engagement in the ACLP, publications, presentations at the meeting, or other distinguishing scholarly projects, etc.? What advice would you give to someone interested in the Webb Fellowship and to someone mentoring a fellow resident who aspires to be awarded the fellowship?
Great. Great. Thank you for your interest. Excellent questions. So I will say for the awards, including the Webb Fellowship, the criteria really line up on a rubric very closely with the questions in the application. So I encourage you to really thoughtfully take a look at the application questions because we're telling you what we're looking for. Of the kind of 5 areas, there are several that I think are things that you and your mentor can be working on directly around your plans and goals for what you would do with the year, what kind of project you'd like to work on, and how the fellowship could be really important to you with respect to your career trajectory. So I think those are all things that don't require any prior demonstration, but are things that you can really be thinking about and planning for. The other 2, demonstrated engagement in ACLP, that would include if you have participated in any special interest groups, if you've been on any presentations. Those are all great examples of how you've been involved in ACLP. It is required that applicants have attended at least one prior ACLP annual meeting. So if you're thinking about this as something you might apply for in the future, I would say when you go to the annual meeting, look at opportunities to get involved. We put out things like calls for volunteers to review abstracts. That's open to everybody. Those are ways to get involved. So think about how you can get involved in ACLP. And then for the demonstrated work and leadership in CL psychiatry, I'd say that is only one of the 5 areas that we're looking at. So it's great if you've had posters, talks, presentations. You should certainly tell us about those. But we're not looking for people who have already, this is an early career award. We're not looking that people have had, dozens of talks and presentations, because that wouldn't be appropriate for your career level. I will say that you need to be a senior resident, CL fellow, or first year attending when you receive the award. That does mean that if you are considering applying and you apply as a PGY4 and you're not a recipient of the award, I'd encourage you to apply again. And we certainly have had people who have been successful on their second application when they didn't make it the first time. So hopefully that covers it. If there are other areas, I also welcome you to reach out.
Thanks, Dr. Bauer. just to piggyback the second question, if a candidate has completed CL fellowship prior to residency and is currently a second year of residency active in ACLP and research, are they still a candidate for the web fellowship? So very specific.
That's
but-
that I don't know if that has come up before. So I would encourage the submitter of that question to email me directly so that I can look into that and get back. I would say by the letter of our published criteria, no, because it's PGY4 or greater. But it sounds like there's some special circumstances, and I'd be happy to find out more.
Great. Some other questions. This is a little bit more general, but for awards that require letter writers, can they be from the same institution? For instance, for FACLP, could it be a colleague that's an FACLP, and can that person be a letter writer?
I can take this one. So FACLP does require nomination letters from 2 current FACLP members. And those members do not have to be from different institutions. They can be from the same institution, or at least let's say there's no rule against it, declaring one way or the other. And of course, the arguments can be made that, maybe if somebody in your own institution knows you better, could write a better letter, where somebody from a different institution might be a higher profile. You kind of have to decide for yourself what's the best strategy to use.
Thank you. Another question. So and you alluded to this, but just to kind of clarify, for the Distinguished Award and for the Special Recognition, can anyone nominate someone, or is it preferred that the person that's potentially up for the award kind of be on board, and even if they don't nominate themselves, but at least be aware that they may get nominated and be on board with that?
I can answer this question. I mean, I think it's always a good idea. I don't think the person needs to know about it, but I would think it's always a good idea to give them heads up, right? Hoping that they, also are able to attend the meeting and receive the award and everything that goes together with it. But I don't think there's any specific rule that they have to know about it, but it's encouraged.
The application materials do include a photo and a CV, so the nominator would need to somehow get their hands on those. Maybe Google could find it for you, but maybe a more expedient way is just tell the person you're nominating.
Photo probably easier, CV more difficult. Regarding the Stoudemire Award, and I apologize if I mispronounced the name, could that be awarded to a team?
It's usually a team of individuals who are being represented by a single applicant. And the applicant is the one who gets to come on stage and accept the award and these sorts of things. So it's a little clunky in that way.
But to clarify, so one person will accept, but to clarify, you could apply as a team if you're, for instance, 2 or 3 people working on something innovative, you want to apply as a team, that's okay.
Right. The award is awarded to the applicant. So it's a little awkward because we know that education is a team effort more often than not.
Got it. Okay. Another question. How strict for the LIPSIT award, how strict is collaborative care? Meaning if is it collaborative care in its purest form, or is there a little bit of leeway there?
So thank you for asking on that one. If you look at the ACLP website, we've included a definition that we've adopted for the purposes of this award of collaborative care. And just kind of to refer to that, we're referring to a specific type of integrated care that includes certain elements of collaborative care as kind of outlined in, what's the old APA and at that time APM joint document. So yes, it's kind of team-based, measurement-based care elements. So you can take a look and you'll see the exact definition of how we're thinking about collaborative care on the award website.
Thank you. That's it for the question. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Let me get For the Stoudemire Award, what would qualify as educational innovations? For instance, if someone's consistently active with CL education on social media or has published a large number of public education articles on CL psychiatry, or has been running special education programs on their CL service, or for instance, has written a book about CL psychiatry, would those potentially meet the criteria?
So we've received nominations from all of that. We've had people submit their entire fellowship curriculum. We've had people submit like a cartoon that they put together to explain how to assess capacity for decision making. All of these things are possible as long as the intention is to improve the knowledge or skills or attitudes of a set of learners. I say learners specifically because we're not talking about trainees even. It could be people who are board certified, this and that, who are learning from this material. This is where the supporting materials are so important, right? Because if you send in something saying, hey, we wrote a book, then I don't know that it was intended to be educational unless there are supporting materials that is targeting these trainees or learners, pardon me, and that there is feedback from the learners that this is useful information for them.
Thank you. Just make sure that we have covered them all. It looks like we have. I would certainly, I feel safe to say that if anyone has any specific questions, they can email you directly to kind of clarify that. And I encourage them to do so. And I think thank you so much for joining, and hope to see everyone at ACLP.